Hey, loves. Hope you are all doing good out there. Thank you so much for journeying with us. We hope that you find these videos beneficial. It's, kind of an accountability partner. We all have to have one here and there, and this is a huge one because we are focusing on how to live this love fully alive. And so if you find these videos very helpful, please subscribe. Help us out. Share the love. Share us with others. Help them find their way to this channel. We just want to keep doing what we can to motivate and encourage one another in the journey. Also, if you find something insightful in this video, give us a thumbs up. We will appreciate it. So today's wonderful topic is one that is so loved by so many, especially couples. But this one's focusing on conflict resolution. Yay! I know y'all are so excited. I'm excited. Yes, completely, totally. Yeah. Okay, but anyhow, this was a challenge in our first years of marriage, our first years of relationship, our first years of family life. Holy moly. There was no conflict resolution. It was just battle. It was all out war. It was rough. And unfortunately, we did a number on each other. And so hopefully what you find here are helpful tips to best come together to a point where even if you disagree, you'll be okay with that. Okay? But there's a lot of insight as to why we have conflict. And I'm not saying so much conflict, but sometimes some relationships do have a lot of conflict. We have a lot of just craziness going on and so much coming up against us, and we have no idea what we're looking at or what we're dealing with. So hopefully this will help you give you some insight as to how to dig a little deeper than to stay at the surface and battle that. All right, so conflict resolution. One of the big things that I learned here, and it's been years of working with couples and doing ministry, has been the fact that, number one, learning and understanding that we are on the same team. As a couple, we're on the same team. If love is truly there, we're not about being better than the other. We're not about winning versus losing. We're about being on the same team. And this was hard for me in the beginning because a lot of the reason why it was such a challenge and why there was all out war when we would engage in these conflicts was because some healing had to take place within me. And I'm always going to go back to the healing, because if we're not open to receive truth and goodness, then it's really hard to grasp that and live in that. So that's what healing does. But anyhow, as a couple, we have to understand that we are not against each other. We are for each other. We're on the same team. And so that means we have to work together. We have to work together to be better. We have to work together at being our best. And that's the point. That's the focus. That's the goal. If we're truly living and loving, this is our mission, is to be our best selves, as one. And that makes it challenging because you have one person who has lived with the way things have been done all their life, and then you have another who has a whole nother set of ways of things being done all their life. And whose is best, and we're going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it that way. But first off, we have to learn and focus on the fact that as a couple, especially within marriage, we are for each other, not against each other. Let us get on the same page. And then there comes family. We have to realize that when we have children and we have loved ones, that when we have conflict, we have to figure out a way to find the greater good for the other. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. How are we making us better? What is going to make us better by coming up with some kind of resolution? Okay? So that's number one. We are on the same page. We're on the same team. We are one. And so, therefore, we're not against each other, we're for each other. And this can be challenging in itself because it just is. It is. Once I get out of myself, then I can truly see the bigger picture. But a lot of times we have to have some of that healing take place in order to truly receive fully what's really happening. Okay, so now we're going to go into step 2. Sorry. Step 2. Stop making it personal. Oh, that's huge. Especially in conflict resolution. This is hard because it helps us focus on the fact that it's not all about me. And when we are, as a couple, as a family, we're working through something and something just stirs the pot and there's this tension going on, and that's where conflict starts happening because we disagree or someone's in a mood, something's going on and we don't know how to put our finger on it. So what do? We end up getting loud, we get crazy, we start taking it personal. We start feeling attacked. We feel picked on. We're feeling like we're being bullied, or and then it's easy to become defensive in the midst of it, right? So we're going to build up a wall and, okay, I'm not going to give in. You're wrong. I'm right. We start digging in our heels. And then what actually gets solved? Nothing. It comes back to becoming between us. It's about you and me. And that's really not why there's this conflict. Sometimes there is, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute. But in order to work through for the greater good of the other, we have to be able to come to a place of resolution. We have to look at the situation and circumstance and truly evaluate it and check in. Check in on, is this about me? Is this something where I need to work on? You know, a lot of times, and I hate to admit this, but it's been very helpful to see it as this. My spouse has become my mirror. And a lot of times when I'm struggling with something and even I have no clue what it is that I'm struggling with, he puts it right in front of me by examining or evaluating who I am being in that moment. And that puts a huge mirror in front of me. And sometimes that mirror hurts because it's like, I'm not being mean. And it's not me, it's you. And we want to go there. We want to do that. But a lot of times when that mirror is put in front of us and there really is something going on that I need to work on, then that's the whole point. That's the point for the tension. That's the point for the breaking point. That's the point. Don't let it all be in vain. You know, oh, well, nothing got resolved. Nothing came from that. Woohoo, past, move on. No, because one, we don't move on. We just kind of sweep it under the rug and just pretend like it didn't happen. When we know it does. And it just broils. It just boils and boils into something bigger than what it ever should have been. So a lot of times when it is about me, I need to evaluate where I'm at, what's going on in my life. I have to kind of just step away from it and just figure out what's being put front and center about me. What is it specifically that I need to work on? Or what's triggering my annoyance, my irritation? What's triggering my anger? What's triggering this hurt? What's triggering this resentment? Where is this really coming from? I have to step back and just kind of check in and see what's going on with me. And that's a huge step because it's hard to admit that one, it could possibly be you. Two, I could possibly be wrong. And three, I have to do some inner work here. That's not always comfortable, but it's a good thing. Look at it as a victory. If you two come to that, then it's a win-win for you both because you're making one another better. That's the whole point in being in this communion being able to be man and woman, we complement one another. We bring out the best in the other. And that's why it's so good. As a matter of fact, that's why God called it very good. When it works that way, when we allow ourselves to be moved and stirred in that love. Okay, so first one was we're on the same page, we're on the same team. As a couple, we are for each other, not against each other. 2, stop making it personal. Don't automatically think that you're being singled out, that you're being picked on, that you're being bullied, whatever. Actually step aside and just kind of reflect, especially if you're feeling attacked, if there's something that you really are taking personal. First check in with yourself. See if this is something that God is using your beloved as a mirror to help you reflect a little deeper on where you are personally. It could be personal, but personal in the sense that if you look at this, you work on it, you become whole, and that's good, so that you become fully given over for the other. And you truly do so in love. You're able to grow from this. We mature from this. We develop here as a couple, and it's huge. It's big to be able to use conflict resolution in this way. The third thing, and this one is key because sometimes it's really hard to do this in the heat of the moment, is pause and pray. Really, I know, I get it. When you are going all out ballistic and you're acting a fool and everything's a mess and there's chaos and there's loud voices. Okay, so my pause and pray before looked like me peeling out. Just being fed up with it because I could not get my point across. I wasn't being heard. Again, listen to those words. I am personalizing it. It was more about me. And in the midst of that, it was about me because there was something that I needed to look at and I didn't want to. So I acted out. I threw this big old temper tantrum and would go ballistic, and the neighbors knew we were having a little bit of a conflict resolution going on, which wasn't very fun, especially for those of us that were indoors. But anyhow, that's what it would look like before. Now, pausing and praying for me looks like this. I have to seriously just step away from the heat of the moment. And before, it was so funny because my beloved would do that and it would get me crazy. I wanted to have it all out right then and there and be done with it and get it over with and blah, blah, blah. And of course, nothing would get solved. I just wanted to be heard. And that wasn't the point of this stirring that was happening. And so when he would pull away, it was crazy. But now I get it. I get the whole process of just stepping away for a moment and praying, reflecting on what's really going on, evaluating the situation, asking myself what's real, what's not real, what's really happening and taking place right now. And a lot of times it could be something coming in, from the outside in and trying to get the best of us. Like something could have triggered one of us badly or wrongly at work. Something could have rubbed us wrong. We might be, and then again, God might be prompting us to take a little deeper look within ourselves. So evaluating what's going on. Is it real? And sometimes it is. Sometimes it's something that has to do with work. Sometimes it's, maybe it's somebody changed diets. Somebody's feeling a little bit more irritable, and so that's not a big deal, although we tend to make it a big deal. Or there's something that's stirring the other, and you're being asked to help them draw that out. Now, when I say that, this is in the time of pausing and praying, right? We're reflecting. First, reflect interiorly. Is there something, God, that you're asking me to look at within myself? Let's say, you check that at step 2, realizing that, I am taking this a little bit way too personal. What's happening within me? Okay, now reflect on what it is that he's asking of you to be drawn out. What do you want me to change? Where am I reacting versus responding? And then also in the pause and pray moment, you're reflecting on where your beloved is, what's going on, what's stirring him, and not necessarily having to find the answer, but trusting him to our Father, to God, who will take care of the situation, always does. But we have to trust. And sometimes he will prompt us to speak to the other, to speak to our spouse about what we see. And now we have to convince them about what we're seeing coming out of that person. Remember, step one, going all the way back, we are on the same team. We're for each other, not against each other. And you have to keep that in focus. Not using it to manipulate, but to draw out the better in the other. And so that's the point in being able to be open to what you're being prompted to share with your beloved. And a lot of times I have to pray even deeper to be able to speak that truth to him so that he can receive it in love. And I can't go judging. I can't go trying to fix. I can't go trying to command or demand for change here. I have to truly be able to see what God is showing us in the midst of this and convey that in love, and then help them believe in what is real, what is true, and what is going to make them better. And that's the point of the pause and pray. So one of the traps to conflict resolution is always going back to who we once were. And that's not true anymore. If you're looking at this, you're wanting more. If you're listening and you're absorbing and you're learning, then you want change. And so it's really hard when all you've known is to react. Now we're going to switch it into responding, and responding for the greater of the other, not just for me, but for us. And so it's really easy to get caught up in what it used to be like. And so you have to keep those triggers in check. You have to remind yourself that that's not the situation. That is not who we are now. That is not where we're headed. That is not who I want to be anymore. I want this change. And that's a huge part of it, is for you to have this desire for more. And as long as you have that desire, God knows that. He's going to help you change it. He's going to help you bring it to a fuller, deeper love and bring you to a life who is truly alive. Okay? So that's the whole point of these awesome little videos. I like them because, hey, I wish I knew this stuff when I was in the midst of, I'm going to say, purgation. Because when we're being purified, it does not feel good. But it's for the greater good. It's a must. It's a necessary. And I'm okay with it now. So, kind of to reevaluate. First, we're a couple. We're on the same team. We're for each other, not against each other. And get that into your mindset. Put that into your heart, especially when something's stirring the nest, okay? 2, back to 1. Also, the fact that once we have loved ones, once we have children, we have family, it's about the greater good, working together as a team, as a couple, towards the greater good for all those involved, okay? Step 2, stop making it personal. Stop trying to make things personal every time something stirs up. Check yourself. If you're feeling attacked, if you're being picked on, if you think you're being picked on, if you're being singled out, if your defense modes come up, your walls start going everywhere, and you start even engaging in some silent treatment, that's when you know you're taking it personal. What's going on? Now you go into second part of step 2 is the fact that, okay, maybe it is me. Maybe there is a need for some sincere change happening here. And God is just using my spouse, my beloved, as this mirror. What am I looking at? what does that look like? What's going on? And the only reason that happens is to make you greater as an us. It's no longer I, it's us. How are we? What do I need to work on to make us greater, better? Okay. Third part is pause and pray. Truly reflect. Just step back from the situation and just pray. If you need to drop to your knees, drop to your knees. One of my favorite places for this is our closet. I can close the door to my bedroom, close the door to the bathroom, close the door to the closet, and drop. And just pray. Surrender it all to God and asking, what is going on? Truly help me to see what's real, what's not real. Where am I in this? Where is my beloved in this? What is stirring us? What are you drawing us to? Where are you taking this? What is happening? Help me to see. And then I go into deeper prayer, especially, if something comes to me and to the heart that I know that really needs to be worked on, then I just drop into deeper prayer then and there and either pray for my beloved or pray for myself, pray for us, pray for a family, and then just give thanks and praise for God's gift and blessing in the midst of all of this. Because a lot of times, when something stirs us, there's something that needs to be dealt with. And when you're on this journey of faith, when you're on this walk, it's really hard to tap into that reality if we're stuck within ourselves. This is why we're made for that communion, for that community. And your communion in that moment is your beloved and God. Bring that all together and leave it at the foot of the cross and surrender and seek what He's doing in the midst of it. So hopefully, step one, we're on the same team. Get that first down, clear, noted in your heart. Let it sink in really well. We're for each other, not against each other. 2, stop making it personal. Evaluate the situation. If you're feeling picked on, go a little deeper with that. Figure out what's really going on. What's real, what's not real. 3, pause and pray. If things still keep going just crazy and escalated, step away for a moment and just reflect. Drop to your knees. Do that in your little quiet zone, in your prayer room, whatever you want to do. Go to adoration. Sit with Jesus for a moment and just figure things out for what they really are. And if there's something that you're being prompted to change, do it, love. You can do this. I know you can. If I can, you can. And it's so worth it because it's about being better. It's about living that love fully alive. And that is the goal. We don't have to wait till we're gone from this life and this world to experience those glimpses of heaven. We can have them in our own homes. We can have them within our own relationships, within our union of husband and wife. It's there. It really is there. And so that's my challenge. That's our challenge to you, is to dive a little deeper. Next time you feel something stirring and when something's brewing, you got to figure things out. Get on top of it. Get ahead of it. And be real with what's actually going on. So really hope that you've enjoyed this time. It's challenging, but it's worth it. So worth it, because not only this, you grow, and those that are watching around you will grow right along with you. And if you're anything like me, I have taught our children how to do things completely wrong, especially within our marriage, within this union, within this love. And so it's been awesome to be able to redeem what we had broken before. And God is all over it. So please, please, please feel this encouragement, feel this love. If you have any questions in regards to the steps, comment below. I'll be coming back and checking back and just keep the conversation going. We want to be there for you, and we want to be able to journey this love fully alive with, for, and in Him. Okay? So, if you found anything interesting, if you found any of this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe for a love more fully alive. God bless, guys.